Hello, I'm Lulu. I'm a compulsive overeater, and I'm just here to talk about my spiritual journey as I struggled through um, um, creating my concept of God, and then connecting with it. And I was on fire to connect and get this gift that everybody else had. Uh, Everyone's like, oh, well, just fake it till you make it. No, I'm not a fake it till you make it kind of girl. Just not a fake it till you make it kind of girl. I can't trick myself. So, oh, just use my God while you're waiting for your God. No, it doesn't work for me either. All I was told, just stay curious, just be curious about everything in this world, and you just can't help but connect and be in that mystical space where you feel that love. So I worked at downtown Boston for years, and when in the Prudential Tower, this big, tall building. So when you take the elevator down, you come into the lobby of the big high rise, and then you go out these revolving doors, and it goes into a big mall, big shopping mall. So you have to kind of come down, come out to the shopping mall, and then find your exit out to the street. So, so when you come down, when I would go out on my lunch hour or whatever, right around the corner, there was like this coffee shop. And then the next door down was a chapel, like right in the mall. It was called St. Francis Chapel. And it was just this little church, and it just looked really cute. I don't like church. I don't want to be in a church, but there was something at this stage of my recovery. I was like, oh, I would love to like go in there and sit down when there's nothing going on and just like to have quiet time. Like, I don't know, for some reason it was inviting to me. I said, I don't even know what religion it is. And you probably have to be that religion to like go in there. And I'm probably not welcomed in there. And I don't want to go to a mass. I just want to go in there. I want to smell that smell of the incense that's in there. I could kind of smell it from outside the door. And there were candles lit. And I just would see people just sitting, random people, like maybe in the whole, it's just a little teeny chapel, probably like 4 or 5 people scattered, just sitting. And I was like, I want to do that. And I was afraid to go in. I was afraid to go in for 2 reasons. I was afraid to go in because I didn't think I belonged, and that somebody would look at me and say, you're not this religion, get out of here, right? Or the biggest thing I was afraid of was, God forbid, any of my coworkers saw this crazy girl going into church, because I had kind of a crazy ass reputation in there. Fun, we'd go out on our lunch hour and have cocktails and we'd have cakes and all this stuff. And now I'm like sober and I'm abstinent. I'm transitioning. I'm trying to like deprogram these people of like my relationship with them. It's just like things were shifting. A lot of things were changing right now, but I was like, God forbid. They know I stopped drinking. They think I'm crazy for doing that. And now I'm like, I make no exceptions on my diet. In their opinion, I'm on a diet. And then I said, oh my God, if they ever see me walking into a church, that's all I need, right? So I was like, nope, nobody's going to see me walking there. So at that time, I was going to AA and OA. And there was a gentleman in AA that asked me to go on a date with him. So I was like, yeah, I'll go on a date with you. So I said, I'd like you to come in and meet me on my lunch hour. Maybe we could go for a little walk. So he was actually like a big speaker in AA. He was a sought out speaker that spoke about recovery. And so he came to meet me on my lunch hour one day, and he texted me and he said, I'm here and I'm here a little early. I'm in the chapel. I'm in the last row. Come and meet me there. Right? I was like, he's in the chapel. All right. So I'm like, I'm going in the chapel. Oh dear, right? So I go down, take the elevator down. I'm outside the chapel. I'm looking all around to make sure none of my coworkers are going to see me walk in there. And I walked in really quick, and there he was in the back last pew. And I just slipped in there beside him, and he just looked at me and he acknowledged me sitting, and we just kind of sat there in the quiet. And I was like, oh, I always like dreamed of doing this, and now it came true, right? And I'm sitting there, and so probably about 5 or 10 minutes later, we got up and we left and started going for a walk. And I told him, I said, I was afraid to walk in there because I didn't want my coworkers to see me walking in there. And he said, and it's a line in the big book, we never, oh, I can't remember the exact words, but we never apologize for our relationship with our Creator. That's not exactly what it says, but it's something like that. We never are embarrassed or anything about our relationship with our Creator. But I'm like, well, I know what you're saying, but I kind of am, you know? So I told him that I've always wanted to go in there, but I didn't think I belonged. And he's like, you belong in there. He's like, you know, you just go in there and sit. Anybody can go in there and sit. That's not what they do in church. You don't have to have, like, you know, a blood test to go in, you know? And so it opened up a whole new world for me. The relationship did not work. It was very, very, very short-lived. But it was like God just gives you what you need, you know? And so there I was. I would be like, if my bus got me there early to work, there it was. It was open at like 8:30 in the morning. I'd go in there in the morning. I would have a little reading, like a little book to do a little devotional reading. I would take a little note paper and think, but I loved it. So, and then I was like, oh, and there's candles. You can light candles. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll light a candle for my daughter and I'll light a candle for my son, and this will be nice. So this is, now mind you, this is early in my recovery. This is before step 4. And I went up to light a candle, and I saw a sign that said, to light a candle is $3. So I was ripping. I was like, are you kidding me? You want $3 for me to light a candle? I was like, these Catholics, they just want my money, right? So I got all this stuff going in my head. So the next time I met with my sponsor, I told her the story. I was like, I'm going to the chapel now, and I'm sitting in there and having my quiet time. She's like, that's beautiful, Lulu. And she's like, you know, I said, I still don't know what I'm really praying to and connecting with, but I have my little list of my conception of my higher power, and I'm kind of trying to manifest and make that transpire in my life. And but I told her about the candles, and I was pissed. And she was like, oh. She goes, like, you know, it's a big fat candle. They probably cost $3. Like, so if you light it, like, no one's blowing it out when you leave. It's like meant to be lit and kind of run its course. And you don't want to pay for that candle? Do you want them to just buy like thousands of candles every month, you know? And I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. I just thought, like, they're screwing me, you know? And so then I was like, I felt bad that I even thought that, but I was like, I didn't know how to think any different, you know? Haven't done the work yet, you know? So then I started leaving 5. I was like, you want $3 a candle? Guess what? I'm going to leave you 5. Maybe today I'll leave you 10, you know? And I was just grateful that I could light a candle. Oh, and before I would light a candle, I would really consider it to be extremely valuable moment. I would light this candle with something very specific in my mind, that I was inviting God, this God of my conception that I had written in my little right-hand side of my paper. And I would just light those candles anytime I wanted with anything specific in mind. And it would just bring me just a nice sense, you know? And this is just a story of just the lengths I was going to to have some kind of a conscious contact with this higher power that I learned in step 2. If I don't connect with this higher power thing, I'm screwed. I learned in step 1, I'm kind of screwed. Step 2, it's kind of like, okay, you thought you were screwed, but you're really not, because there is a solution. And if it is sought, I need to seek it out. I need to make it the most important thing in my life to connect with this higher power, my conception of this higher power. And I was a regular at that in that chapel. I would go on my lunch hour, maybe not the whole hour, but I would go like the last 15 minutes. And then maybe 15 minutes in the morning. But I just felt like it was like my chapel. And then I found myself, I wasn't looking over my shoulder. Probably the first year, I was kind of looking around, probably. I didn't want anyone to see me, you know. Then I got on the other side of my step work, and I just really felt like a sense of what that gentleman said to me. We never make excuses or apologize for having a relationship with our Creator. That I heard and read that line, and I had a whole new relationship with that message that I didn't have that day he said it to me. And then I just found myself just going in anytime I wanted. So now I'm retired and I don't go there anymore. But that little chapel was calling my name. It was calling my name, and I wasn't answering because I wasn't going to be seen in that house. And then there I was. So thank you. Just wanted to share that story. Hope it was helpful, and look for your chapel, however that looks. It might not actually be a chapel. It might be a bench in a park that can be a special place. It can be a little lawn swing in your backyard that can be your special place to have that moment where you just connect, you know. But it was something about the lighting in there, the smell in there, other people doing the same thing. And I know we're all in our own thoughts. We all have our own, you know, other people are coming out and bowing before the altar. And I didn't do that because I didn't know what that really meant. And it just didn't seem authentic. It wasn't without any disrespect, but I left them a lot of money. So anyway, thank you very much for listening.